will be nice to us today, and I think it will be nice to us. Apparently, we are live, so I'm going to just check out here and see if we are. Either way, it's going to start streaming to a whole bunch of different things. So everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to INPact Interviews on the last and final day of 2020. And I can think of no other person at this moment that I would like to share the final INPact interview with for 2020 than the amazing Miss Katey Fortun, who is sitting right over there to the side. So welcome, Katey.
Hey, thank you for having me, Janet. I am so excited to be here today.
I'm excited that you're here. Now, for those of you that are just tuning in and tapping in and turning on to INPact Academy, as you know, INPact is a platform that I've put together to showcase people throughout the world who are jumping in to make a positive impact in their world and in what they do with children, what they do in their businesses, what they do just in living their life in general. So Katey and I had a beautiful opportunity to connect in a group that we were both on throughout in 2020. As we know, the power of technology has been tremendous as far as helping us to expand our relationships and opportunities to link arms with just some of the most incredible people throughout the world. And Katey was one of those people. And when I put out a message that I was hosting a youth summit, a 2-day youth summit, and was looking for speakers, who rose to the occasion, jumped in and said, me, was Katey Fortun. And I wanted to bring her back on at the close of 2020 because she just oozes impact. She oozes the opportunity to jump in and share kindness and compassion. And she is truly one of those drips that rips and not a drop that plops. So everybody, let's welcome, give lots of hearts and lots of love to Miss Katey. And once again, Katey, thank you for spending your final day of 2020 with me.
Yes, thank you. Oh, you said so many nice, kind words. You're so sweet. Thank you.
Oh, no, well, you are. I have to tell you that I loved the message that you put out today because, you know, life is all about gratitude. So can you share with everyone what you launched today that just touched so many hearts?
Oh, yeah. Are you talking about the YouTube video?
Yeah, the YouTube.
Yes. So it actually was really interesting. I was editing, I think, a podcast or one of my YouTube videos. I honestly don't remember. And it like hit me and I'm like, this year's been tough. But we have so many things to be grateful for. And how can I show and share with the world that we all can find even the smallest of things to be grateful for? And honestly, it hit me. I wrote it down and I cranked it out really quick, like all the stuff, sent it out, connected with people. And what I did is I put together a very simple YouTube video to end 2020 on a high note, on a positive note. And some of my closest and most amazing friends and family jumped on board. You jumped on board. Thank you for being a part of it. And it's a video where I just asked people to take about 30 seconds or under. Some of them were a little longer, some of them were shorter, and just say a few things that you're grateful for. And in 2020, because it's been a tough year for so many people, myself included, and I've talked a lot about it and everyone's talking about it. But I really want everyone to like watch it and say, you know what? We do have a lot to be grateful for, even in one of the worst years of a lot of our lives. Like, and I don't mean just COVID, but there's just been so many things that have happened in people's personal lives and jobs and everything. And it was really heartwarming to see what the few people that did participate, what they had to say and what they were grateful for. And I said this before, but I cried while I edited it. Like, I was like, this is so beautiful. Like, I was just so, and I mean, they sent them all to me, so I saw them, but when I put it all together, it gave me so much joy, and it made me feel good being able to end this year. And I truly believe that, you know, even really difficult years and things that we go through in difficulties and hard times, it gives you opportunities for growth and being able to push through. And then at the end, you're like, man, that was tough, but I got through it. So that's what I put out this morning, and it is live on YouTube, to go check it out. And yeah, it
Yeah,
was
it
awesome. I'm
was.
so grateful you were a part of it too. I loved your message. Oh, I was like, mic
Love
drop.
that you asked. I was so honored that you asked. I was like, of course I'm going to, and I shared it as well, which was just really great too. And one thing that I absolutely love about you, and what drew me to you, and I do believe that people come into your world on purpose for a purpose, right? And something that everybody should know is that Katey does a phenomenal job with a podcast, and it's called the Different Ability Podcast. And something that she shared on the Youth Summit, which I thought was such an incredible message, is that we really do need to celebrate all of our different abilities, and I love the fact that you call it abilities. So can you share a little bit about how that came to be, and how you got so involved with it, and how you're using your own personal story to really make an impact and a difference in other people who also share different abilities?
Yes, and thank you for asking. I truly believe actually everyone in the world has different abilities. Every single person watching this, every single person in this entire world has different abilities of some sort. We all do things differently. Janet, you and I do things very differently, and that's great. And where it started actually was when I was really young, and finding out that I actually had a learning disability. I struggled a lot in school. And I have a lot of information out there on this. I'm not going to go into great detail, but I struggled a lot in school, and I found out between 4th and 5th grade that I was dyslexic. And when the doctor asked me, "Oh, Katey, what are you going to tell your friends when you go back to school?" My mom reminds me of this because I don't remember everything from that day. She said that I told the doctor, "I just learned differently."
Mm.
And I'm like, that is so cool as a 4th and 5th grade kid being able to say that. And I like, it never hit me honestly until later in life. Like I, did school, I did very well. I got the help I needed. I used my IEPs. I went to different classrooms to get help. I took tests out of the classroom. I did everything I was supposed to do. And I went to high school, did great in high school, college did great. And honestly, the first time I ever really spoke publicly in general was at my great aunt's celebration of life party. And by speaking, I mean, I ugly cried through the entire thing. So I didn't expect to speak that day, but something, it was probably her from above being like, "You're going to speak today." And I told the story of how, she was a big impact in my life. And I'm so grateful for the people in my life, my mom and my dad and my family, the people that have always been there. But I know a lot of people that don't have that. And we've all, maybe we don't personally know people, but we know that some people don't have that kind of support. And so, long story short, going through lots of different things, going through college and, the different jobs I've had, more and more kept pulling on me and said, "You need to do more. You need to keep telling your story." And the more I spoke about my story, and kids would come up to me after an event saying, "I'm you. Like, my story is just like yours." I have this girl, I just love her. I actually just messaged with her today, talking back and forth a little bit. A few years ago, I spoke at a conference in Wisconsin Dells. I'm from Wisconsin, and it was a leadership conference. And I was speaking to a bunch of kids, of course. And this girl came up, and she was like, "Katey, your story really hit me because it makes me feel like I can do it too. And our stories are similar. Like, I have a learning disability, and I want to be an interior designer like you are." And so we connected. I'm like, "Here, you know my name. Go look me up on Facebook." We connected and talked, and hopefully we're going to talk more and more. But I will never forget that day, because it just, these little tiny, like you say, like the drip that rips, these little tiny drips came into my life, and from people, or people saying things, and it doesn't have to be validation type things, just like you hear, like, and even just looking at people, Janet, you've spoke, I'm sure, in front of people, and you see people's eyes. There's ones that don't pay attention. Okay. But then the ones that are like really paying attention, you're like, okay, there's a reason I'm here. And so that's where it all kind of started. And there's so much more information, of course, but I just know, like, deep down there's more that I'm put on this earth to do. I truly believe everyone should hopefully someday feel this way, that we are here to do more than just live here and leave. Like, there's more in the world that we can do to make this world a better place. So.
And you truly, truly are. And that's exactly the thing that I love so much that resonates, is that you're using your voice to share your story. And if it impacts one person, you know, a lot of times we'll go and speak. And that's how both of us met, was on a speaking platform, which is so fantastic, and just such one of the biggest blessings for 2020. I know for myself personally, and I'm sure for you as well, was just such a blessing. But that's all it takes, is for you to just impact one person. That's it. That's all that matters. And then that will just continue to move on, because then that person who was just impacted might just see another person and then also make that impact on that person, and just keep it going and keep it going. So, you know, it's one thing that it's in this day and age, like you said, all of us learn in different ways. All of us have different abilities. How do we get people to learn how to celebrate their different ability and not see it as a hindrance, or see it as I'm a less than? How do we build them up so that they know that it's really a beautiful, unique gift that's been specifically given to you for a reason?
Before I answer that, I do want to say something that you just said. So, first of all, thank you for asking that question. But when you said, like, impacting just one person means a lot, it really does. In today's, and this is why I want to touch on it. In today's world, everyone wants so much right now. We want all the followers. We want all the things. And, oh no, my post didn't see, like, 3 people liked it. Like, I found out, like, I didn't even know. There are so many people that have watched my things and seen my things, never say a word. They never like it. They never whatever. And then down the road, they'll say, Katey, we really, or the person says, this actually happened, Katey, I look forward to your videos every Monday. I've had a really tough year, and you just put a smile on my face. And I'm like, I didn't even know they were watching. And so my little message real quick before I answer your other question is, the numbers are important, sure, whatever, but they're really not. If you can touch one person's life, like you said, Janet, that will spread so fast, because if you can impact and empower one person and make them feel confident about themselves, put a smile on their face, just make their day, they will do that for someone else, maybe not even realizing they're doing that. And then that will spread, and that will ripple, like you say, and that will keep going. And so if you can help someone, one person, that will make such a big impact. Even though it doesn't feel like it, it does. And so that, I just had to say that, because I know you are so passionate about that as well, that a single thing can really change someone's life and make a ripple effect in the world. And that's what we're all here to do. So my message would be, just sometimes just don't even look at the numbers. I have people, and they say this because they're like, all the love in the world. Okay, it's not like that stuff. They're like, ooh, how many people watched your video today? And sometimes it's more family than others, because they're excited and they don't get technology. I'm like, hopefully the right people is what I say. I'm just like, I hope it helps the right people. And again, it's all out of love. It's not like, ooh. So I don't want to make it feel like that. I appreciate everyone being kind, but I truly, really try hard, I'm not perfect, to not even pay attention to that stuff. But do celebrate it when things happen. Like, oh my gosh, like the other day, Janet, I like almost fell off my chair, and I can't wait to have this video someday, years from now, that I can look back and be like, oh, cute Katey and cute Janet, we're doing. But 800 people watched my YouTube video in 23 hours. And I was like, what? Like, I was like, it was so crazy. And it just made me happy, because I'm like, maybe that will help someone else and they can have a positive day, or whatever that message was. And so anyways, I digress. So that, yes, now I forgot your question. I am sorry.
No, it's so true. And that's the thing. You get so excited and so passionate about it. And it's so true, Katey, that we literally are all here on purpose for a purpose. And it's just finding what that is. And if there's any way that we can help people find out what that is beforehand, because just like it's been said that the two greatest days of our life are the day that we're born and the day that we find out why we're here, right? So if we can in some way help one person find out what it is, what in the world are we doing right now on this earth for this purpose right now? How can I help? How can I serve? So I just think it's absolutely wonderful. So when you talk to that, when that message resonates with that one child, and I always keep going back to the children because I know that, they're our future. And, the saying that I always say is that, our youth make up 40% of our population, but 100% of our future. So I can't help but want to always just focus on that. And because you had that journey happen to you where you kind of unveiled who you were, your different ability, when you were in 3rd and 4th grade. And I know that there's other kids out there that may not be watching this right now, but maybe there's a parent that's watching this right now and their child might be quirky or their child might have, how do we help them to want to celebrate their child's special ability? How did your parents encourage that and make that a great thing?
Thanks for reminding me of the question.
I actually forgot it myself, but it came back to me.
Well, and it came back when you were talking. I'm like, yes, I know it now. Like, so honestly, for my parents, they have always supported me in anything I did. Like, and you know me well enough now. When I tell people that I was introverted, didn't speak up, didn't talk to people, was afraid of my uncles. Like, we have a very close family. When I was little, people would be like, there's no way. It's 100% true. I was quiet. I was shy. But the second I found out that I just learned differently, because all those years I was feeling like I was stupid and dumb and something is wrong with me, and then found out, no, I just learned differently. My mom says, it's like they put a quarter in you and you never stop talking. So, but they've always been very supportive. My whole family actually has been supportive and just celebrated that. And in things I like, so my dad has 2 daughters, me and my younger sister. I always joke that I was his son he never had. So like, he taught me how to weld at the age of 10.
Awesome.
With 10-year-old little girl, he says every little girl needs to learn how to weld. Okay.
That's all
right. And I remember growing up and, digging holes. It sounds crazy, like the movie Holes. No, it wasn't like that, but kind of. And helping him like in his side business and doing all these things. And I liked like hands-on things. I liked building. When we had to do a book report, I was like, meh, I'm not doing a poster. Dad, let's build it. Like, so I love the Boxcar Children. I built with my dad a boxcar with a working door. I'm pretty sure the last I talked to the teacher, she retired now, but she passed that boxcar down. I gave it to her in the class. They kept the Boxcar Children books in there, and she passed it down to the teacher after. I hope it's still there. I should check. But things like that. And so they really like let me be me and like let me try things and do things. But they always said, Katey, whatever you want to do in the world, you'll be able to do it. You got to work really hard. It's not going to be given to you. And like they even said, like if you want to be an astronaut, I guess we'll stand on the ground and watch you. So they've always said those things and been very supportive. But I don't want it to like anyone that's listening to feel like it's been easy, because it hasn't been. Nothing. I believe nothing worthwhile is easy. It's just not. And you got to work really hard for it. And so what my biggest goal and dream is to help empower kids. And I'm on the same page with you, kids. I don't have kids. I actually am not going to have kids, but I'm going to give all my love to all the kids in the world because I love kids, and my niece and nephew, of course, because they're my pride and joy. But I love kids, and I never want anyone to feel the way I did. Even though I had the most love in my life, and my mom and dad and my sister and my family, we have a huge family. I had all the love, but I internally felt terrible because I thought I was stupid. And I thought that there was something wrong with me. Why are other kids getting done with tests faster than me? Why can't I figure this out? Why am I scared? Why all these things? And like I said, the second I found out that I had a learning disability, or as I call it, a different ability. It changed my world. And so being able to help kids build that confidence, but it doesn't come overnight. I'm still building confidence every single day. I will say 2020 I have built so much confidence in 2020 because you have to. But one of my biggest messages and things I'm actually working on for 2021, slowly, but we're getting there, is to teach kids to learn about themselves. So that's my opinion. I believe to even start moving forward to wherever you want to go, you need to learn about yourself. And that goes for anyone, not just kids. You need to learn about yourself and whatever it is. And so teaching them the different things that you can do to learn about yourself, or if you're doing something and you feel like, oh, that's weird, you take note of it. Oh, well, why do I like building things over reading? Why do I like this over that? Why can I hear something and understand it in 2 seconds, but when I read it, I have to read it 4 times. So these, not that they have to self-diagnose themselves or anything like that, but anytime you learn something new about yourself and you can take that and use that, is going to, number one, build your confidence, and number two, just give you so much more empowerment of being like, this is me. And I've had so many people ask, where do you get your confidence? And gosh, you don't let anyone push you around. Yeah, you're right. But it's taken years to be like that. And don't get me wrong, there's things in life that you're like, yeah, this is what's gonna be. And then you're like, oh God, I hope that like you're just like, oh God. And so, but it takes time. And that's where I want to be like the support, and I want to connect others. And I love way in the beginning when you said storytelling. Storytelling connects people and it helps people. Like everyone's stories matter. Janet, your stories matter because there will be a kid or an adult or someone that picks up one thing in your story and they're like, oh, I'm not alone. Like, oh my gosh, that's okay. Wow, look what Janet's doing. I can do it too. And so that's what I feel is so important. There's a million things. Another thing is self-advocacy, but you have to learn about yourself before you can do any of those other things. Because I can sit here and talk at you about how to advocate for yourself, but if you can't even like be a little bit okay with how you may learn different, or you may look different, you might feel different, you might believe different, you might have grown up in a different place than someone else. If you don't recognize those things, you can't keep moving forward. And I shouldn't say can't, I don't like that word, but it's going to be harder to keep moving forward. And so the moral of the story is I just don't want any kids, teens, young adults, anyone really, to have to feel the way that I did. And yes, my story is just mine, but it can go for anyone's story. I don't want anyone to feel discouraged. And you're going to sometimes, but being able to learn about yourself in every way possible. Side note, I just learned what Enneagram type I am. Mind blowing. It has blown my mind up. I'm doing a podcast about it because I'm like, this is totally me. And we're talking about this later, Janet, because I'm like, my entire life is all summed up now. I understand. So
that's a tool that needs to be shared, and so I can't wait to hear that, and then we'll definitely.
We will.
The other thing too, like you're saying, is to advocate for yourself. And I want people to realize, you just said it was all summed up in one little tool, right? There are so many tools, thankfully, due to technology, that and resources that are already out there. And I know a lot of people tune into Dr. Google as soon as they have something that hurts them, right? And like, oh my gosh, I'm dying. Dr. Google says I have this massive disease. But truly what I have found, especially this year, being home in a pandemic, is that we were able to tune in, tap into these amazing groups or resources and just start learning about things. If you like to do a certain thing, there's so many. The knowledge technology world right now is so ginormous, like huge. And anybody and everybody can tap into that and learn and get some information so that they can become a better advocate for themselves. They know where to go and how to get there. And is that something that you like? What do you use for your resources to, for your mindset, for your, to help you figure it out? Where do you go and what do you do?
Janet, People are like, oh, self-development. I have spent so much money this year on self-development, and I don't mean it in a bad way. I am so grateful for every moment I've done. I mean, we were in a group together that wasn't inexpensive, of course, but I've never learned so much about speaking. There are things I do, like earlier when I was learning, I pick up, I don't know if you do, but there's something like when someone says the word it gives me cringe because I know you're gonna have to pay Les Brown $20
I know.
for your, like your ums. And it was ingrained in me after one time listening to him.
I'll listen to someone speak and I'll sit there and go, I'll listen to somebody that's presenting and I'll of course then you tune into it, right? And I'm like, all of a sudden I'm like, $20 deposit, $40 deposit. I said, wow, I hope this person's got a huge bank account because they just blew it all in that one sentence. And it's just, but it's so true. Those minor little things. And as a matter of fact, something that I'd like to officially have you a part of as well is I'm putting together another youth summit. And it's going to, with another conglomerate group of people from our speaking group, and we're going to work together to put together a youth summit, speakers speak summit, so that we're going to invite children and young adults to get on platforms to learn how to speak. And so that's in the works for 2021. And I know since we were a part of, this other project together, of course, having Katey Fortun as a part of that too. But I just love that you brought that up and know that those are the things, those are the tools in the tool belt that we can share with others, which is why INPact Academy is continue to grow, and these interviews are going to continue so that we can find out who's out in the world who you can latch into. For someone who has dyslexia or someone who has a special ability, a different ability, you know what? Tune into Katey Fortun. Reach out to her. She is the most giving, generous, beautiful person who's going to always respond, reply, share information, and be a resource. So you're such a blessing in that regard, and I truly love you for that. And as a matter of fact, how do people find you?
Oh, all over. You
Where
can
do they go?
KateyFortun.com is my website, and you can see on the screen how you spell it, because I'm different and I spell my name differently. So thank you, Mom. And then on Instagram is just at Katey Fortun, Facebook Katey Fortun. I do have the Different Ability podcast that I am always looking for wonderful people. I mean, anyone, but everyone's wonderful to me, to share their stories, whatever story, whatever different ability they have. And I do have my YouTube show, The Motivation Moment YouTube channel. It is Katey Fortun is the channel, but then YouTube show and fun things like that. And there's so much more to come. Can I share like a secret?
1,000%. Yes,
okay.
Please.
Okay. So hold.
I'm so excited.
So I'm working on some things, and one of the things, it's going to be live in 2021. I'm still working on it. I took this week off to work on it. We'll see how that goes. Anyways, I am going to have awesome, amazing t-shirts in an online store in early 2020. And you guys are getting the first look. I have literally shown very minimal people. You would have seen it on the picture you used for this thing, but I have these new t-shirts that say, oh, there we are. Yes, I'm different. #not sorry. And then on the back, they have the Different Ability logo. And I'm so excited because this is how I'm celebrating that I'm different. I just say, yeah, I'm different. I'm not sorry about it. And just something simple. There's a whole story behind why. I don't want to say had to, but working on some trademark things. There's another little secret. But you have to do you gotta sell some stuff, So, but I'm really excited to be able to put that out there. And there's so much more, Janet. We are gonna need to talk at a different date because we should collaborate on a lot more. But yeah, so that you can find me on really anywhere. I don't do Twitter. Nothing against it. You can only pick so many things you can do. So
Right.
Yes.
Well, you're doing so much, and I just commend you because, again, for so many people in 2020, they jumped in and they went and put themselves out there, and that's a scary thing. Just that alone is a scary thing, right? Yet you've done it and you're doing it, and it's now just continuing to just roll and go. So What I have to ask, do you pick a word for a year? Like what is your word? Would you mind
Yeah.
sharing that? Because and how does that word come to you? And then I'll share with you my word and how it comes to me each year.
Perfect. So last year was my first year I ever picked a word ever.
Mhm.
And so last year's word was boundaries. There's a whole story behind that with my day job, not my current one, but a couple previous ones of how I didn't have boundaries and I just worked 80 hours plus a week, never had time for family. It was honestly quite terrible. And so there's a lot of things I've learned and it's all on my YouTube channel. Literally, I'm an open book. So you learn everything. But it's over there. So boundaries was my 2020 word. And it was actually kind of easy to get because like we couldn't go anywhere. So, I mean, I didn't say yes to everything and I was really good about boundaries. And, when someone say, hey, want to hang out? I'm like, well, actually, I'm going to be safe. And no, so
Mhm.
that was that word. This year, I haven't officially figured out, but I've been thinking more about it today when I was on my drive. And I honestly think that my 2021 word is going to be simply happy. And not that I haven't been happy, but I really want to focus on that. After 2020, it was a very difficult year for myself and my family, losing so many loved ones, a lot of health issues, things really, really a lot of grief that I'm still working through. I'm terrible with grief, but I'm still working through it and learning every day and how to do that. But I think my 2020 word is just going to be simply happy because that can be so many things. And so maybe happy for myself, of course, but putting more happiness out into the world. And Janet, honestly, it's a feeling for me. Like I was so overwhelmed the year before that. I'm like, boundaries is my word because and I have to say, I'm pretty darn good at setting boundaries and holding to them. And because I'm like, if you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to someone else or
Mhm.
something else. And so I'm not saying you can't say yes, but that was something that I needed to learn because I was terrible with boundaries before. But this year for me in 2021, tomorrow, I can't like it's going to be happiness and happy and like my goal is obviously for myself to keep being happy, but also spreading that more and spreading more happiness even in really tough times because this isn't over. Obviously, none of this pandemic is over, and there's still going to be a lot more things that we need to get through in the next year. So spreading more happiness. What
I
is
love
yours?
it. I love it. Well, thank you for asking, and I get very excited as when it just comes when it arrives to me, and it's it came a little bit later this year because I was saying like, oh my gosh, what's my word going to be? And I started doing it for the last couple of years, and last year my word was shine, and it was crazy, and that was and it really things were happening through that word all year round. And this year, the word that was downloaded to me was bold. Bold in my intentions, bold in my relationships, bold in my desires, bold in doing the right thing, just being bold and standing into it and really just not allowing life to happen, and helping to more boldly walk and go in a certain direction. So that's the word, and I'm going to go live and do something about that too. But for some reason, that was the word that just boom,
Yes.
on me.
Well,
Uh,
you've done a really good job of being bold this year too. So I think that's a great year, like thing to be like, okay, you'd be like, hey, Katie, you thought this year was bold. Watch me for 2021.
oh, you're so sweet. You're so awesome. So, what is one thing that you do each and every day um, to set you up to be in a happy state? Is there something that you do or a practice that you have?
Yes. I used to follow some people that I don't anymore, but it helped me kind of build what I needed to. So I don't write anything down like I used to and let's do all the 30,000 journals. I don't do any of that. Nothing against it. I'm not a journal person. I'm terrible. Now, uh like a sticky note wall, I'm all over that. I have like thousands of sticky notes with all my ideas and things that I'm doing next. But I actually practice gratitude every single day. And it's not like I did another thing I learned this year is I used to be such a routine person, like terrible. Like if I miss today at the gym, I am a failure. If I don't do this, I'm a failure. Because it was kind of where I was kind of on the follow train of some of these other influencers or whatever. And thankfully it departed, not part of it anymore. Which is good. You live and learn, right? You kind of feel out the people that you want to be around. And I felt like this 2020, I have really found like wonderful people, yourself, and people that were at that summit. Oh my gosh, the one you put on. I just love every single one of those people.
Awesome.
Truly do. And just so many other people. But gratitude. So every day, and I'm not going to say that I wake up and I'm like, I have to think about things, but I intentionally try to think about things during the day. And it's not like a specific time or whatever. Or if something like not so great is like coming at me and I'm like, why is this happening? And then I'm like, whoa. What is a positive thing that I can talk about right now, or I can think about, or what can I be grateful for? And that is something I do try to do every single day. Not perfect. There are days I am a cranky girl. I'm just gonna like, yep, people can testify to that, but you got to have those days. So, but as much as I can, I try to be grateful for even the simplest things. Like my hair looks good today. Super grateful for that. Or like bigger things. Or I'm really grateful my dog didn't jump on me today. Just like, it doesn't have to be this like groundbreaking thing, but the more you practice that, the more you can keep that positive mindset. Even when really hard things are coming at you, you can be like, wait, what is something positive out of this situation, even though it's terrible? So what about you? What are things that you do? Because you're so positive and uplifting as well. What are some of the things you do?
Well, I honestly have to say that's why we've linked arms together, because I am all out gratitude. And I often say to people, you can turn from a crappy state to a happy state on a dime, because there's always something to be grateful for. As thick as the muck that have walked through, there is still something that we can be grateful for. So each day I wake up, and the first thing I'm grateful for is just the fact that there's air in my lungs, so that I have another day to live, and I can have another day to serve, and I have another day to just be with my family and make just be here, right? And I always say that God's given us 2 feet, so that with every step we can say the words, thank you, as we're walking all throughout our day. And to stop and truly look at those things and be like, oh, wow, that's cool. That's like, I'm so grateful to be like, I am so grateful to be sitting here right now talking with you at this moment, and to truly be in the now, because I can't worry about what's going to happen in 10 minutes. I have no idea. Lord only knows. And whatever just happened is already gone. So I like to be in the present, because it's such a gift. So I am same thing, all about gratitude. And is what a practice that I had people do during COVID, as it still continues, is write 19 things that they are grateful for. Write a letter, dear COVID-19, and list 19 things that they were grateful for over what happened with the pandemic. Perhaps it was being able to sit around and have dinner with your family. Perhaps it was taking that project off the shelf and saying, I'm going to open an online store now with these amazing t-shirts, and doing all of these things that we normally didn't have time to do. And just, even though there was so much hardship and so much loss and so much, discourse, and still so much is happening. And I pray so hard that everybody just can find that little dose of gratitude and do something to pay it forward, because each one of us at some point in our day, like you said, like, sometimes you have those days where you're like, I am not Mary Poppins ugly, like really ugly. And it's like scary ugly. Like people are like, whoa, like just stay away from her. And but perhaps they can help lift somebody up with just a smile, even if it's through your eyes because you have your mask on. Just something. So I'm just totally like in sync with you 1000% over gratitude.
I love that you said that, because I actually this year that just reminded me of more things that I have to do. But I did launch a challenge, the Positivity Challenge of 2020, and I loved it, and it was so great. I have to rebrand it because it's not 2020 anymore, so I'm going to redo that. But I did that, and it was actually really fun to be a part of and do, and it's anytime, any day, but it was 5 days, and you can keep doing them, but it was things that you can practice, simple things. Like you just said, smile at someone. Like literally that's one of the days, like go out and smile and say hi to someone. And that could make their day. And just simple things like that, or, pay it forward in whatever way you can. It can be free, opening a door for someone. When you said the 2 feet thing, I thought of like when we grew up, my parents both would say, specifically my dad, he's a little bit more of a preacher at us. And he's going to watch this and he'll be like, but, yeah, you totally are. But he would say like, are your feet work right? And your arms, they're okay? Okay. You can open the door for someone. You can, you can smile and say hi to someone. You can help someone because you are gifted to be able to walk and have these 2 feet and be able to open a door for someone. If you see that they're having a hard time, say hi to someone. And both of my parents, but like I said, my dad was a little bit more like, do it. So I was at a young age. And I think that's just so, that's something else. There's so many people, and maybe this year, I don't know, hopefully it's helped, but I don't know, but people are always like, heads down, I'm doing my own thing, stay in your own lane. I am actually one of the weird ones that I'm like, no, actually put your head up, look around you, see what's going on around you, and can you help someone? Because I've been told, truly been told, you need to put your head down and stay in your lane and not worry about anyone else. And I'm like, no. So I'm like, I'm going to worry about other people and help other people. And I'm going to have great days. I'm going to have really cranky days. I do tell people, if you see my cranky side, like you really did something wrong. Because it takes a lot, but like you're in trouble. So, but like just being able to be there for people. And like I said, like you see someone and they're struggling, or just maybe like you look at people's eyes. You can tell they're having a tough day. Say hi. And it's free. Everything is free that I'm talking about. And so just being able to do that. And I think that that's such a powerful thing, but also teaching our young kids to do this early and being able to give back in the simplest ways. It doesn't have to be crazy and expensive and anything. Say hi to someone, open the door for someone, wave at someone. Like how many little tiny kids you see through the grocery store and they wave at you and you're like, oh, because they're just so cute and they're like, hey, and you're like, hi, little guy, how are you? Makes your day. Right?
It's so true. It's so true. And the top 3 things, whenever you ask anybody what they want most out of life, they want to be happy. They want to feel connected to someone and be a part of something, and they want to make an impact. So that simple gesture of saying hi lets people know that you see them and that they matter. And especially for a little child who's told to, don't speak until you're spoken to. Like, I hope those words never come out of any other future parent's mouth. But it's just, crazy things. And you're right. It's the little things that make the biggest difference, which is why the power of the drip has just been something that throughout 2020 has completely resonated with so many, which I feel most grateful for 2020, to find that thing that just is the message and the story to be shared to so many. So I love that you are doing so many amazing things. And I know that's only the beginning for you. And congratulations on your recent engagement. So that's a beautiful thing too.
Yes, that has been a whirlwind itself as well, in such a positive way. And it's just, I'm like, good 2020, let's do something happy. Like, I'm just like, yes, finally. I've actually had people say that, like, just people that know me and love me, and it seems kind of overwhelming. I'm not very good at like getting things. Like I love giving. My love language is giving gifts, loving on people. But when they like in return, I'm like, oh, like I get awkward. Like it's such a weird thing. Like I'll practice that in 2021. But I've had a few people specifically say to me like, I needed this year. And I'm like, needed what? I needed something positive. Thank you for getting engaged. Just being happy and being able to be happy. And there's so many people that like, I feel the same way for other people. Like you see something really happy, they get a puppy and you're like, oh, I needed to see that. I needed that. Like, thank you. And that's one thing I do feel is such a positive thing about social media as well. A lot of people think social media is so negative, and it can be because, it's always that highlight reel. But I feel like you're really good at this too, Janet, is to really be real like when you're having a tough time, and maybe not be like air all your dirty laundry or anything, but like you're on there saying, you know what, even just now you're like, I get cranky, like, and just be real about it. No one's perfect. And, me talking about grieving a loss of someone I love so dearly was so hard to do. But like, if that can help someone else be able to get through their time as well, then that's what I needed to do. And honestly, it did help me too, to be able to talk about it and be real and look like a real human. I never want people to think like, oh yeah, Katey, she's like, you can't approach me. No, I want to be your friend. Like I always tell, I make friends for a living. That is my job. Like, let's do this. And so that's why I love what you do though, is in what you talk about, is that the impact, but also that the drip that rips, that ripple effect. And what's so cool about it is you can imagine it. When you drop a single little rock, you can see the ripples. And I think that's so cool. And there's some other things that we'll have to talk about that I am working on, that's launching hopefully this year as well, in 2021. And that same thing, the simple little things will move the needle, will move that ripple to help others in the world, all over the world. And a lot of people think, oh, I'm just one person, I can't change the world. Yeah, you can. I will fight you until I am not here. You yourself can make a big difference in the world. We can't have that mindset of, I'm just one person, I can't do it. Yeah, you can. I will say it over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm. As Maya Angelou told Oprah, she said, oh dear, it's not the one thing that you did. Your legacy is in the lives you touch each and every day. So what a glorious responsibility that we have. Yes?
Yes.
Every single person with air in their lungs and blood in their veins has, which is just such a blessing. Gosh, you light me up. You are just a beautiful, beautiful soul. And just the fact that your word is happy for 2021 is like you could just, I'm going to see it all the way from Wisconsin here in New York. And I appreciate you so much. And I just want to thank everyone that spent, some time with us on the last day of 2020 to really, truly focus on gratitude, focus on kindness, focus on compassion, and celebrate everyone's different abilities. Because like you said, Katey, we all have them. Tune in, tap in, find out what lights you up on the inside. It's a gift that needs to be shared with so many people. So, Katey, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I just also want to say, wish you an amazing start to the new year. And to me, it's a calendar, page turn. So we're just going to keep rocking and rolling and doing what we do. And just wishing you so many tremendous blessings. Is there a final word that you just want to share with everyone in the INPact audience and throughout social media that we'll be sharing this to?
Yes, I just want to say is be yourself. Mm-hmm. Like live into your differences and be okay the way you were made, because you were here for a reason. I'm going to cry. And that you are here to make a difference in this world. And it doesn't have to be on some crazy level. You can make a difference just being yourself. Loving yourself takes time, and helping the people around you. And Janet, thank you for everything you do. And thank you for having me here today. I am so grateful to have connected with you. And I look forward to our friendship for the future. Thank you.
Amen. Me too. Me too. Everyone, Katey and I both want to just wish you the most wonderful start to 2021. Say goodbye to the challenges and the beautiful things that did happen in 2020, because the best is still yet to come each and every day with breath in our lungs, for sure. So, Katey, to you and your family, enjoy the rest of today. Enjoy the rest of this entire holiday week, for sure. And I can't wait to stay tuned in and connected to you as well, because that's it. We are linking arms and going to continue to do great things together. So I'm
best friends now.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you soon. Enjoy the last day of 2020, everyone. God bless.
See you.
All right. We are going to, let's hold on a second and see how I do this now. End broadcast. Boop.